Artiga. I'm a Long Island City artist. I'm a photographer for 20 years. I could say the same about being a painter and illustrator. The media spin basically takes the photographer's perception and makes it the media's perception. Any little alteration on that picture, like a crop or a pan or a zoom, can like alter the story of that picture.
So do you think there's there's a lot of subjectivity to photos?
There is, to a certain extent. To me, all photos have a narrative, so it's not like a like to me every photo has a story. Like every painting has a story. You know, it's just every form of media has a certain story to it. But to me, photography has the purest form of storytelling because what you see is reality. What you see is the extended eye of the photographer. You have basically your equivalent to junk selfies, you know, like the junk, you know, selfies, you know, this whole narcissistic side to social media photography. And then you have the narrative side. You have guys who are actually real photographers, like Humans in New York, or a lot of street photographers with their own accounts. And it's wonderful because you get to see a photographer's work from around the world. And now you don't really have to rely on media. You yourself can be the media without any alteration, without any edit, photo edit, or any false pretenses on your photos. It's good, and at the same time, like nobody wants to see somebody's fucking 20th selfie for the week. Social media, for some reason, plays a lot on people with anxiety issues who don't necessarily have the social skill to interact with people. So that's where the whole selfie thing comes in. You know, there's a narcissistic thing to it, and there's a part where you know that somebody probably has some sort of anxiety problem and they can't really be that person in public. You know, it's each his own. I mean, who am I to like say anything bad about it? I noticed that I've met a lot of attractive women who would have 30 selfies and not one professional photograph. They would be terrified to work with a photograph. They would show their cleavage, they would take pictures, and yet when somebody asks them to take a picture, it's just like, I'll get back to you. They'll never work with another photographer. Like, they'll never work with a photographer, period. And in my opinion, that could be anywhere from like being narcissistic or having anxiety issues where you feel actually good about yourself because you actually take the selfie and you show yourself to the world and you live on likes and you live on validation. I think half of the photos in social media is some sort of validation seeking. In 2000 for the Central Park attacks, and I took video of that, and it was just my life as a journalist kind of ended there because I've been in like Geraldo, CNBC, Dateline. I was interviewed by NBC, and I noticed how they would make the footage even more negative than what it was. It was pure exploitation by media to make sexual assaults into, something like more like groping into something even worse. And it was just a mess. It involved me going to like a grand jury, and again, like, journalism is not for everybody. And when I saw the artistic part leaving, as of telling that story and seeing my narrative turning to like a whirlwind of media exploitation, I just gave it up and just stuck to street photography. Because that's sort of, it's, in a way it's sort of journalistic, but in a way it's coming from your perspective and not a media spin on it. I think the thing is, it's not about getting easier or harder. There's a lot of photographers or so-called photographers who get into photography but don't have the heart for it. They have this notion now that it's technically easier with digital that they're going to make money. And that's not the kind of attitude that you get into photography. Photography is a labor of love. You do most of the jobs with little or no money at first because you love doing it. You love the way your friends look. You love the experience. You love going to a certain place and taking pictures of the architecture. You do it because you love it. You see a lot of young people getting into photography for the wrong reasons.
Alexander Castaneda, I'm from Ecuador, 41, and I've been doing photography for 15 years.
No, it starts at 12:30.
I would like to start. In that case, I'm gonna be there.
Be back at 11:30.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, when we give you a start time, it's the time where the actual party starts. We normally get there like an hour before to make sure that we're all set.
Because there's a lot of people that do the same stuff. And here in New York, basically, or mostly here in New York, there's a lot of people around the block. You can find 2 photographers, easy. And I know a big community of photographers, and they have different. I mean, they have different style and stuff, but at the end, if somebody's gonna look for a photographer, whoever's has give you a best deal, they're gonna take it. So yeah, competition is a big issue. What? Everything is about images. So you have images, you cannot really show or project or sell something. We have the radio. Even the radio create images with the sounds, with the way that they have a script, create images in your head, so you could picture them, and you can see what they are talking about. So print images, like newspapers, magazines. You see these magazines of fashion and stuff, and then you have a real content of like maybe 10 pages. Everything else is marketing, and everything is backed up with images.
The ceremony finishes like at 11:30. So I will.
News, I really don't. I'm not a fan of the news, really. It's like everything that you see in papers is very negative. I guess they have a bad energy for me. But let's say there's some newspaper that the first page that you see is a great image, great nice image. So, madre que so that image in front in the cover of the newspaper always kind of like sad emotion. So I don't know if they do it on purpose, just to get you the mood. And okay, let me go in and look at the news, or let me see, or look at what is this. But anyway, it's not just a case of a newspaper. In the magazines, they have this beautiful girl, or this like very nice handsome guy. I guess it manipulates them a little bit just to get you interested in what they're trying to offer. I'm a little dark. I guess I'm a little dark. I would say I'm a little alternative. Maybe sometimes when I go to the events, I do the classic stuff, because the customer wants that, the bride wants that. But when I have the chance to get out of that line, I guess I go to the dark side.